Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Well, what's done in the dark shall come to light. Yeah, family, how you gonna judge me? How you gonna stand in judgment of me, point the finger at me, and you got 1,000 fingers pointing right back at you? See, the prosecutor in the Carmelo Anthony case, they probably should have recused themselves. They probably just should have stepped back and said, you know what, somebody else handle this, because if we do it, then we're likely to be found out. Right now, this is a quiet matter in a little small town, and don't nobody really know what's going on. So, but if we put this national spotlight on it, you're going to have people like Dr. Candice Matthews showing up. Like, yo, what's this right here? And one thing about Dr. Candice Matthews, if there's some information out there on you, she will find it, man. She gonna go digging. She is Snoop. You know how they call those reporters? No, they call them Scoop. That's what they call them, Scoop. She's a scoop, man. She gonna get the scoop on your ass. She gonna get you. And guess what happened, fam? This guy right here. Y'all know him? This guy is the DA in Collin County. That's the county. His office is the office that prosecuted Karmelo Anthony. I mean, showed him no mercy whatsoever. You would think that this guy is really serious about protecting the public, right? Yeah. And this is his buddy right here. This is his main guy, his right-hand man. This was the lead prosecutor. This is Bill Wirskye. He is the lead prosecutor. He was the lead prosecutor in the Karmelo Anthony case. He's the guy that stood up there and told the world how horrible Carmelo Anthony is, and how little regard he has for life, for human life. Even though Carmelo Anthony risked his life to save a drowning person just prior, a few years before, he was accused of killing Austin Metcalf. Yeah, so Candice came with receipts, as she always does. Check this out, fam. I'm gonna play this video, and then I am going to let you guys see some of the receipts that she sent me. I ain't ready for this, fam. Check it out.
Tighter. These physical encounters were unwanted and sexual in nature. Jane Doe 1 eventually put in for a position in the Victim Assistance Division and got it in December 2020. This role put her under the supervision of Chief Prickle. However, the unwanted touches and full frontal hugs with moaning continued. The most recent of the sexualized hugs back in April 2022. We got a damn freak!
We got a freak as the DA in Collin County and his right-hand man both have been accused of touching on women, some cases married women, intimidating them, also practicing discrimination. Woo! Practicing discrimination in a racially charged case. They have a racially charged case that they are prosecuting. Meanwhile, they are being accused over here of discriminating. They're being accused of taking advantage of the DA's office, weaponizing the DA's office against their own staff, many of them females. Whoo!
For the DA, but you want to talk about Carmelo Anthony. No, we're going to talk about you. Because if you want to sit up here and go do this rocket docket type case, well, we're going to rocket docket your ass. Because you need to be in jail. You do not need to be a DA here. But see, this is what they don't tell you. That's why you got to research your people, who you're voting for. And I'm finna say this to the Republican Party. Republican Party, y'all need to write somebody else in. Because this man here is a sexual deviant. And he has no place being a DA here in Collin County. And if you want to see this lawsuit, you can go to my Houston Stringer page or Nights on TV. We're going to drop the whole 75 pages so you can read it for yourself. And there's some sick puppy foolishness in here. But he's DA though. Oh, okay. Let me see.
Now, Candice, I ain't got no problem with that. See, you gotta address these type of situations, and when these people come with this diabolical energy, you gotta know it's something going on with them too. See, it's something gotta be sick about you to take a otherwise model kid who ain't never been in trouble before, a kid who saved somebody's life before, a kid who is an honor roll student, 3.7 GPA, on his way to college. Did I mention he ain't never been in trouble? He ain't got no kind of legal history of a criminal record, none of that. And you get this boy, okay, even if you did decide, okay, you know, we're going to find him liable, he guilty, which I don't believe he was guilty, but, you know, according to their law, he's guilty. You have to say, look at the range of punishment, 5 to 99 years. What is, if Carmelo Anthony ain't eligible for the 5 years, the low end, who the hell is? He's otherwise a model citizen. Besides the issue with Austin Metcalf, besides that incident, he has nothing on his record whatsoever. If he don't qualify for the lowest sentence, who the hell does? Nobody does. This is why I say these judges got too much latitude. They pick and choose when they want to be hard on law, when they want to be tough. They start talking really tough. But those laws that they have all across the United States, they are not to protect the people in general. Those laws have been implemented to protect some and to control and punish others. That's why you have laws. It ain't got nothing to do with a civilized society. We got a billion damn laws on the book, man. They got a law about everything. And they give these judges way too much latitude, way too much. And when you have people, judges, prosecutors, who are in a position where they can affect the outcome of a person's future, a person's life, they cannot have that much latitude because they come, like all of us, with their own set of implicit biases. You can't shake it. You don't leave your implicit biases at the door of the courthouse. You don't do that. You take them implicit biases right on in there with you. You don't say, hold on, man, as you're getting scanned to go through the courthouse, you don't go like, hold on. You don't take your implicit biases out of your pocket and throw them in the trash can or tell the security, can I leave this here? No, you walk your happy ass right on in there in that courtroom, and whatever you think about Asians, that's what you think when you're judging. Whatever you think about blacks, that's what you think when you're judging. Whatever you think about Latinos. That's when you think when you're judging. Whatever you think about whites, that's what you think when you're judging. So let's get into this lawsuit. Yeah, man. Let's get into the lawsuit. We got a situation here, family. We got guys who are supposed to be the crusaders for public safety being accused of assault, of discrimination. They're being accused of bullying, pushing people around. Yeah, the very DA office that prosecuted Carmelo Anthony, that didn't see no good in him, that they gave that boy 35 years in prison. 35 years in prison. How many times have we seen these little white kids who sometimes have a record? They're allowed to go home. Straight up home. This little white dude out here right now, I forgot his name, but he didn't essayed his own sister. Killed her. They let him go home. Austin Metcalf and his brother have been accused of being bullies. This is why they were suspended. And they wasn't just bullying boys, they were bullying girls. They couldn't even, the lawyer that Carmelo had couldn't even get that introduced into the courtroom. He couldn't even put that on the record. He couldn't even say that Carmelo Anthony had saved somebody's life before. He never even mentioned that. He never even presented that evidence. The lawyer, in my opinion, was in cahoots with the DA from the jump, with the judge and the jury from the jump. Straight up modern day lynching. Now, I know you uncivilized mutts in the comments because you normally ain't got nothing to say unless you're being exposed. But it ain't going to work. There is nothing you can say or do to make me take my foot off your collective necks. Check this out, family. Here's a lawsuit. Check that out. Look at that. What does that say? Well, let's see. Kim Peckrell, Keith Hensley, Fallon LaFleur, Vicom Lee, Jane Doe and Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2 versus Collin County, Texas. Greg Willis, Bill Wirskye, Darrell Hale, Susan Fletcher, Chris Hill, Cheryl Williams, Duncan Webb. This is the Collin County DA's office being sued. Yeah. Come now, plaintiffs. States the plaintiffs' names. Kim Peckrell, Keith Hensley, Fallon LaFleur, Vicom Lee, Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, and file this their original complaint against defendants Collin County, Texas, Greg Willis individually, Bill Wirskye individually, Chris Hill individually, Daryl Hale individually, Susan Fletcher individually, Chris Williams individually, Duncan Webb individually, and in support of their causes of action would respectfully show the following. This is a claim for employment discrimination, harassment, and retaliation pursuant to Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Yeah, boy. Title VII and the TCHRA make it unlawful to discriminate against or harass employees because of their gender, as well as to retaliate for opposing or reporting such conduct. The plaintiffs further present this original complaint under 42 U.S.C. The Collin County District Attorney's Office is supposed is the operative word here, family. It's supposed to be a principled law enforcement unit that exhibits irreproachable workplace ethics and a steadfast commitment to equal protection under the law. Instead, as set forth in paragraphs below, District Attorney Greg Willis treats many female employees as objects that, without their consent, must gratify his sexual impulses and personal vanity, while First Assistant Bill Wirskye runs the office as a crass, misogynistic fraternity, complete with systemic hazing of the county's attorneys, investigators, and staff. Family, if this is happening to county investigators, if this is happening to county attorneys and staff, the rest of us don't stand a chance against the DA's office. The DA primary job, no matter where that DA is located, his primary job, his primary role is public safety. That is his top priority, public safety. So you mean to tell me that the staff of the DA's office ain't even safe? And the reason they're not safe is because the DA's office is not safe. The reason why the DA's office is not safe is because of the DA. It is because of his first assistant, Bill Wirskye, the guy who actually told the jury how horrible Carmelo Anthony was. He kept pointing. Carmelo Anthony, this, he's a horrible guy. Meanwhile, this mother is over here harassing people. Hey, fam. Oh, you know what? I'm finna skip down a few pages because I want y'all to see this. Where's my page 10? Oh, page 10 tell the story, man. Page 10. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get to this here. Once she was in place, he began to stroke her hand. In fact, let me back up a little bit more. As part of Chief Peckrell's reporting to Defendant Willis, he required exceptionally long meetings on a weekly basis. This is the guy, Defendant Willis, the DA. These meetings sometimes went on for hours, and during the entirety of the meetings, he required his door to remain closed. During these meetings, Defendant Willis sometimes moved from the seat behind his desk to sit next to Chief Peckrell in the seats facing his desk. This seating arrangement was tight and it caused their knees to touch. On one specific occasion, he needed help on an electronic document located on his computer. and invited her over to his computer area. Once she was in place, he began to stroke her hand with his hand. Now, ladies, I want you to imagine yourself in the position that this person is in, the plaintiff is in, and you have a boss that's handling you like this. Fellas, I want you to imagine that your wife, your girlfriend, your daughter is in that position. She has a boss that is handling her like this, that is torturing her like this. A lot of people say, well, why don't you just quit? It ain't always that easy for somebody to try to quit a career. These people, these are career people. This is not just a job, it's a career. And if they leave there, oftentimes the next place they stop at going to want to know what happened. Even if they're the victim, the next employer may decide not to hire them because they may think, oh, I don't know about that, man. I don't want that trouble, you know. Not that they necessarily might do something, but I don't know what to believe. Maybe she's lying. I don't want that type of heat on me. So she can't work there. Quite frequently, he would give her full frontal body hugs while pressing her breast into his chest, rubbing her lower back with his hands and moaning. He'd often remark about the condition of Chief Peckrell's body, saying he could tell that she worked out. Defendant Willis told Chief Peckrell how good her body looked and that he just couldn't be around her because she looked so good. On another occasion, he alluded to his own arousal and said that he couldn't sit next to Chief Peckrell anymore because he couldn't help himself getting excited because she looked so good. On multiple occasions, he told her she was beautiful and that she had beautiful eyes. During these extended meetings, there were times Defendant Willis refused to discuss business and instead asked personal questions about Chief Peckrell's family life. Fellas, again, imagine it's your wife, your daughter, your girlfriend, your sister, your mama being handled like this. The harassment and unwanted touching at the computer was typical, but unusual only in that the pretext that there was a business purpose, as he told Chief Peckrell expressly that his motive for these meetings was personal, not business to him. He told her, this is the arrogance. He told her straight up, my motive is personal, not business. This is a guy that is fearless. He ain't got no fear of being exposed, reprimanded, fired, or charged. When he saw Chief Peckrell in the hallway, he would sometimes ask her to join him in the office. As they walked toward his office, he would position himself to look over her shoulder and down at her breast while they walked. While they walked, with his eyes fixated on Chief Peckrell's breast, he would literally moan. He would often say in these moments, I'm sorry, you just look so good. You look too good. And keep moaning. On another occasion, Defendant Willis chose to pull Chief Peckrell into his office from the hall. After doing so, he pulled her body into his, pressing her breast against his chest. He then leaned toward her with his face in an attempt to kiss her on the mouth. There was no agenda or official county business to discuss. This was simply his way of showing he could control her and that he could or would continue to use her as an object for his romantic or sexual desires. Chief Peckrell understood that to keep her position as chief investigator, she would be required to tolerate Defendant Willis's sexual advances as part of his quid pro quo, as well as tolerate his abuse when she did not submit to his advances. Fellas, some of you right now, I'm appealing to the men because a lot of men are in position to check this sucker. A lot of men are in position to curb this type of behavior. Fellas, you have no idea. Some of you right now, you might want to talk to your girlfriend. You might want to talk to your wife. You might want to have a discussion with your daughter. Chief Peckrell understood that to keep her position as chief investigator, she would be required to tolerate defendant Willis's sexual advances as part of the quid pro quo. Family, how many of you listening right now, how many women right now are listening who, in order to keep your position, you have to tolerate uncivilized mutt behavior? You have to tolerate this to keep your position. You got to be required to tolerate this uncivilized mutt. He ain't just an uncivilized mutt, fam. I want you to take a good look at this one. I want you to take a good look at this one. Let me fix this. Look at this uncivilized mutt. He would put his lips on the woman's lips. He put his lips on her lips. Ladies, imagine that coming at you. Imagine having to deal with that every day. Imagine. Think about that, fam. Think about that. Wow. I got more, fam. We're not done. There's more. Watch this. Hold on, let me get it. Where is it? Let's get him out of here for somebody to throw up. Okay. Let me see, where did I stop? Okay, so defendant said was okay, here we go. Watch this. Defendant Willis's conduct became more threatening once it was clear to him that Chief Peckrell was not receptive to his sexual advances or his attempts to flirt with her. Stick with me, fam, because I'm gonna get to the guy who actually put Carmelo Anthony away. See, this is the big guy. This is the guy that took the case and told the grand jury, hey, look, we need to charge this guy. This is the guy that went and did all the stuff that he needed to do to try to get the case, right? Took all that time to put a case together, right? Because he had no case, right? And by the way, a whole lot of evidence came up missing. A whole lot of things wasn't said. So anyway, stay with me. He began berating and belittling Chief Peckrell so frequently that Chief Peckrell never knew what version of defendant Willis she would get on that day. He was just as likely to come on to her as he was to scream at her. Good Lord. Bipolar, sociopath. Notably, defendant Willis often refused to discuss business with her, choosing instead to play mind games. Defendant Willis would make Chief Peckrell do role play scenarios where he would pretend to be her and he would require her to play the DA. Whereas role play can be a useful management exercise, he used it as a means to groom, flirt, make sexual advances, and assert control. During role play, defendant Willis would berate her for not being able to read his mind. She could read his nonverbal communication that he wanted a sexual interlude with her, and he got angry when she never provided him with that answer. His harassment of Chief Peckrell fits a familiar pattern for defendant Willis. He initiates scenarios and exchanges that he intends to be flirtations, from which he draws gratification. He also uses his position of power to force unwanted touching, knowing that even when not reciprocal, the female employee is in no position to rebuff him outwardly. Once he begins to understand that there will be no actual sexual interlude, he is gratified by expressing his anger through acts of intimidation, control, manipulation, and retaliation. Defendant Willis also consistently refused to accept personal responsibility for conduct he knew to be sexually harassing and awful. As he would tell it, it was never his fault that he made unwanted sexual advances at Chief Peckrell, but rather hers, because she looked too good for him to be expected to control his urges. Similarly, he wanted V. Kim Lee to believe, while he was sexually harassing her, that workplace sexual misconduct was a compulsion for him rather than a personal choice, because he just could not help himself from doing so when near her. Now, what does his right-hand man, Bill, have to do with this? Remember now, Bill Wirskye, he is the one that stood there and told all these lies about Carmelo Anthony and convinced the jury. Well, I don't think he really had to convince the jury, because I think the jury went in there with their mind already made up. I think they had their mind made up before they were even selected to be on the jury. They didn't look at their case. They came out, they talking about deliberation. The motherfuckers went out there and got them something to eat, came back guilty. They probably was in there cracking jokes and playing with cross puzzles and stuff, man. Them people didn't sit there and study no evidence or whatever, man. This was a railroad from the jump, straight up. Okay, here we go. As early as 2017, Chief Peckrell told her deputy chief, Keith Hensley, about defendant Willis's consistent abuse of her. She disclosed that she had not reported the abuse to HR because she was afraid of losing her job, which most people are when they're being harassed, and that she always became anxious, nervous, and physically sick each time she would be scheduled for a one-on-one meeting with defendant Willis, who insisted that his opaque frosted door remain closed. Due to the anxiety, fear, and physical anguish Chief Peckrell felt during these closed-door meetings, Deputy Chief Hensley would frequently sit in Chief Peckrell's office, which shared a wall with DA Willis's office. Chief Peckrell and Deputy Chief Hensley developed a plan that in the event a meeting with DA Willis escalated to a level of harassment she could not navigate, she would knock on the wall so Hensley could intervene. These meetings happened regularly. There were many occasions where Chief Peckrell desperately wanted to knock on the wall to signal Hensley that she was in distress, but did not do so for fear of incurring DA Willis's wrath should he perceive her knock as a cry for help and a joint challenge to his authority. Now watch this, fam. Let me get down to Bill Wirskye, because he's one of the worst guys, right? Check this out, fam. Oh man, this guy. Where is it? I thought I had it marked. Where is Wirskye? They're going to sit in judgment of how you going to have some people being accused of sexually assaulting and discrimination and everything else under the sun, standing in judgment of anybody. But this happens all the time. In fact, you know, there's supporters, people that think like them. A lot of them, they're the same way. Look at all of those January 6th rioters. They supposed to, you know, be the party of family values, and they don't like this and they don't like that, and these people are the problem. And every damn day we look up another one of them, somebody that ride with them, that support them, are getting popped for messing with these babies. Yeah, and a lot of these males are messing with boys. Anytime you have people, that's why I tell you, people with no moral flexibility scare the hell out of me. The people that act like, oh, every time somebody over here do something, woo, they just the worst of the worst of the worst, and they come off like, you know, they're perfect, like they're just a model. No, man, y'all, you got to do is dig. You'll find it. All you got to do is dig. So here we go. Let me see if I got this right. Defendant Wirskye. I don't think it was not this. Let me see. Was it? I'm not sure if it was this far down, because this is some cold blood. If I cannot find it within the next few seconds, I'll just give you as much as I can remember about what he said, because he said some really, really cold-blooded, foul stuff, family. According to the lawsuit. Okay, where is it? I thought it was page 12. Maybe I was moving too fast. I thought it was page 12. Let's see, can I get there? Where is he? No, that's not it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, I cannot find it. So let me just give you what I can remember about what he said. The guy that Bill Wirskye, Bill Wirskye, he basically told the complainants that they could not cry for help. There is no crying in the DA's office. If they complained about it, they could go home. If you want to complain about being sexually harassed, you just go home. If you don't like anything about this office, you can just go home. Here it is right here. Got it. Got it. God is good. God is good. Okay, here we go. It was not unusual for women to come into her office and cry, okay? Tears were routine in the DA's office. However, crying was expressly prohibited by defendant Wirskye, which compounded the anguish that Chief Peckrell and others experienced as a result of their interactions with defendant Willis. Defendant Wirskye enforced his no crying policy in prosecutor team meetings, whereby he would issue edicts such as go home if you're gonna cry. There's no crying in the DA's office. No snowflakes in this office. Check your emotions at the door, and nobody gives a shit about your feelings. Given his role and professional relationship with Chief Peckrell, Deputy Chief Hensley witnessed this as well. Deputy Chief Hensley was alarmed by female employees who were pushed to the point of tears as this had not happened anywhere else during his career in law enforcement and was not objectively normal, professional, or acceptable. The abuse from defendant Willis was not limited to Chief Peckrell. Jane Doe 1 was hired as a receptionist at the DA's office in 2019. A few months into that position, Jane Doe 1 became defendant Willis's administrative assistant on a trial period. Almost immediately, defendant Willis made unwanted comments about Jane Doe 1's appearance. Comments that were inappropriate coming from the elected district attorney in a professional district attorney's office. In addition to these inappropriate comments and full frontal hugs with moaning, defendant Willis held the same type of closed-door meetings with Jane Doe 1 as he did with Chief Peckrell, with no one else present in the room. During the trial period, as part of her job, Jane Doe 1 traveled to a Texas County and District Attorney's Office conference in Galveston. Oh, hell. Y'all know what's going to happen now, right? Y'all know what's going to happen right now. That's why you don't do them conferences and all that shit. Say, man. This is the same annual conference hosted by the Texas District and County Attorneys Association, where he had in a prior year harassed Chief Peckrell. After a group dinner, Jane Doe 1 was sitting in the hotel lobby with defendant Willis while the group dispersed for the evening. During this time, defendant Willis invited Jane Doe 1 up to his hotel room, which she politely declined. He changed the subject for a bit, then asked her again if she would come up to his hotel room, saying, "I'm not sure where it could lead, but we could explore." Jane Doe 1 replied, "That is not what I'm here for." After Jane Doe 1 refused defendant Willis's advances at the Galveston TDCAA conference, he treated her quite differently in the workplace. He began demeaning and berating her. In one closed-door meeting, he told her, "You think like a child, and I will treat you like a child." Defendant Willis likely appreciated the gender slurring that is implicit in a male supervisor telling a female employee that she thinks like a child and shall therefore be treated as one. All of this to say that these guys ain't it. They try to come off as if there's something special, like they're somebody perfect, like they're something perfect, and they came off like, oh, they out here trying to protect the public. But they're preying, according to the lawsuit, they're preying on their own staff. So not only did Carmelo Anthony not get a fair trial, their staff didn't get a fair shake as employees. Yeah. But they got the nerve to try to stand in judgment of somebody else. They got the nerve to stand in judgment of somebody else. Compared to them, Carmelo Anthony is an angel. Man, it ain't no telling how many people these dudes lie. It ain't no telling how many lives these dudes have destroyed. Ain't no telling. It's not just women, it's men too. Ain't no telling how many lives they destroyed. Ain't no telling how many people done committed suicide or, are on antidepressants right now or became alcoholics dealing with these dudes. And look at them. That's how they do, y'all. That's how they do. They show up for the job. They raise their hand and they swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth. They swear to uphold the law, to protect the public and all of that shit. And they don't do none of that. They be lying while they holding their hand up. They know that they're just going through the motions. They don't believe none of that stuff they say. They don't believe none of it. That's why I say this whole thing about the law, they don't give a damn about the law. They breaking the law, allegedly, according to this lawsuit. They've been breaking the law the entire time. They don't care nothing about the law. Talking about the law. Man, it's always the law when it's somebody black on trial. It's always the law when it's a black victim or something. You know, it's the law. But very seldom is the law applied correctly. They don't care nothing about no law. They don't care nothing about the law. The law. And the law, you know, the law. These people show you every day. Why do you think every time there's a black person is accused of defending themselves, killing somebody for defending themselves, or even not killing them, just defending themselves, and it's a race, it becomes a racial thing. A black person is killed by a non-black person. Why is it always protesting? Protest is damn near automatic because they don't care about black life. So we already know that they're gonna probably try to rig it. They're gonna try to rig it. They're gonna try to get the person off. So we always gotta take to the streets. Why don't we take to the streets more often? Or why don't we take to the streets? They say, why don't you do that when black people kill black people? Because when black people kill black people get punished. See, this is what they do. They don't care about black people killing black people. They just want to punish somebody black. So if you kill somebody black, yeah, they're going to punish your ass. They're going to give you as much time as they can give you. It's not that they care about the black person. They don't care about the victim, but you gave them a freebie, so they'll take it. They're going to take 2 for 1. One go to the grave, the other one go to the cemetery, the other one go to the prison. They go to the yard. Both end up in the yard. One end up in the cemetery yard, one end up in the prison yard. They don't care. So that's your answer, all you slowpokes out there that talk about, well, I don't do that when black people get killed. Because when black people get killed and they know who did it, the person who did it gonna get punished. Absolutely. And they're not punishing them because they like black people. They're not punishing them because they want justice for the family. They're punishing them because they're trying to get you in the system so you can pay for their vacations and their kids' college tuition. They want you in that system so you can go in there and do those free jobs at those prisons, fill those beds. They don't mind. That's a cool deal for them. You mean to tell me they can get you to work for free? And all they got to do is feed you some slop 3 times a day and make sure you got a bed to lay in? That's it. They ain't got to do nothing else. They don't have to babysit you. They just put you in a cage and let you go. That's a damn good deal for them. What are they spending a day to have you there? What are they really spending? Not what they say they spending, but what are they really spending? On that slop, okay, on the high end, you throw in a chicken day. On the high end, $3, because they buying in bulk. So $3. You got a bed, you got a little cot, a little small area you're taking up. You know, if you were renting out that space in your home or whatever, maybe you charge, even if you charge $1,000 a month, they still win it because they making thousands of dollars off your money. You doing jobs that people get paid 6 figures for. You getting paid 6 cents for it. Talk to me, fam. This is game. These people don't care nothing about no justice. That's why you got so much crime in America. These people don't care about no justice. How in the hell is that justice? You get 2 boys get into a fight. The boy on the left start the fight. The boy on the left is a bully. The boy on the left is suspended. He has a reputation for being a bully. Nobody in America likes bullies, allegedly. He's a bully. We all know he started it. What do we normally say when people start fights? Well, you should have been minding your business. Shouldn't have went over that. Yeah, you know, he brought that on himself. That's what we say, don't we? Yeah, but this time, some of y'all ain't saying that, right? Some of y'all won't say that now. But he started it. He brought it on himself. Carmelo Anthony defended himself. So let's just buy the prosecutor's argument that he went too far. He took it too far. Even if he did take it too far, if he pulled out a knife, defended himself, they say it was a defensive stab wound, meaning that it was not an offensive stab wound. It was a defensive stab wound, and meaning that he didn't intend on killing him because he just stuck him. The knife only went 2 inches deep, and he did not repeatedly stick him. So you can't say that, oh, he was trying to make sure he murdered him. No, he was trying to get him off him. So even with all of that, you consider this boy's behavior, what kind of reputation he has. Austin Metcalf, while it is a damn shame that a kid got himself killed at 17 years old, Austin Metcalf was a bully. He started the fight. He was a bully. His brother was a bully. That's why his brother didn't get on the stand and testify. Don't you think do you know how much theater that would have made if the brother would have got on the stand and testified? You know he's gonna cry. And they gonna play the violin. Why he didn't do it? Because he didn't want to get crossed up in cross-examination and have to deal with answering about his behavior and his brother's behavior. So you got a troublemaker. Austin Metcalf was a troublemaker. You got a troublemaker versus a peacemaker. You got a troublemaker who's a bully versus an honor roll student who has saved at least one person's life. A model student versus a troublemaking student. Remember, he was suspended because he was a troublemaker. He was suspended at the time of the incident. Karmelo Anthony, model student, never been in no trouble. Loving household, 2-parent household, mom and dad under the same roof, 2-parent household. Austin Metcalf, being raised by his mama, single parent. Y'all know y'all don't like single parents. Let's stay consistent here. Y'all know what y'all be saying about single parents, single mothers, specifically single mothers. They raise horrible kids. That's what y'all be saying. That ain't what I say. I'm a product of a single mother. So I don't think that all single mothers are horrible. I do believe that a kid stands a better chance in a 2-parent household with a mom and a daddy than he has than just with his mother or just his father. The data says that. Statistics say that. There's been extensive research on that. So that's proven. That's a fact. That ain't just me. I also believe that a child has a better chance if he's going to be raised by a single parent with his father as opposed to his mother. But this kid don't stand a chance either way because his daddy, now we see where it come from. His daddy was talking really, really reckless. Said something to the effect that Carmelo Anthony was now a melon felon, like a watermelon felon. At first, remember, when it first happened, he was all religious and talking to a Christian and forgiveness and talking all this stuff. And now he full-blooded MAGA. He full-blooded MAGA now. No forgiveness whatsoever. Not a Christian or godly bone in his body. So if you look at, so the jury don't even look at both of these guys' reputation. You think that jury didn't know that this boy was a bully? They absolutely knew he was a bully. It's a small town. Everybody talked. Plus, people are talking in the media. You think that the jury didn't get on the internet after they were picked? They absolutely was on social media. They knew what time it was. And they also knew that Carmelo was a model student. They knew his reputation too. But they threw the book at a 19-year-old kid who was a model student. I can't even count the times I've heard judges say that we're not going to ruin her life because she comes from a good home. She can be rehabbed. He can be rehabbed because he comes from a great home. And it's the only incident this person has ever been involved in. So we're not going to ruin their life. We're going to give them a chance. Even if you found this boy guilty, he should have been sentenced on the low end. 35 years. All of them were in on it. The judge, the jury, and the prosecution. Going into the comments. Let Metcalf and his family come to the hood. Candy Girl, what's up, Candy Girl? Pink. The Clapback Show says, Willie D, is you not gonna mention Anthony taking a knife to school and stabbing in a fist fight? He didn't take a knife to school. He just had a knife on him. He had a knife in his bag. It was a pocket knife. The way that they was talking, I thought he had a butcher knife. You know, I know if I'm planning to stab somebody, I'm not going to be thinking about no pocket knife. I'm going to go get me a nice, good butcher knife. Noria Day, what up? What's up, Quita Sunshine? What it do? What it do? Ahmed Belton, what's up? When they found him guilty, the maximum time he should have gotten, if he was going to do, they were going to give him some prison time, should have been probation. I mean, it should have been 5 years. He should have been at the very low end. Think about what I'm saying, fam. Otherwise, he's a model student. He stuck him one time. They testified that it was a defensive stab wound, not an offensive stab wound. We always got grace for kids. We always talk about how kids do stupid things. They don't think that their minds, their brain is not as matured and all that kind of stuff. We love to say that, right? Until race gets involved, till you put the race in. Austin Metcalf was a kid. If Austin Metcalf can get grace for being a bully and walking up to somebody and trying to make them move, trying deputizing himself, if he's going to self-deputize, if he can be given grace for that, if he can be given grace for his actions, for his incompetence as a youngster because his mind is not fully developed. Most of us know that if we walk up to a person, another grown person, and try to tell them to move, one or two things going to happen. They're either going to move or you're going to have to make them move. And if you put your hands on them, then you know what comes with that. So if Austin Metcalf can be given grace for his actions, why can't Carmelo Anthony as a child, as a kid, be given grace for his actions? I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some penalty, but 35 years for a kid who ain't never been in no trouble before in his life? A kid who actually saved somebody's life before? An honor roll student? He ain't robbed nobody. He ain't in no gang. He ain't going around bullying people like Austin Metcalf and his brother Hunter. $35 years? Hell no. Hell no. Especially when you consider the fact that so many people in this country commit some of the most heinous crimes and never do a day in jail. You got Capitol rioters that went to Washington and tried to overthrow the government. That should have been punishment by death right there, trying to overthrow the government. They tried to overthrow the government. Some of them went to prison and got pardoned within months. Two-tier justice system. Two-tier justice system. And until America do right by all of its citizens, we're going to be right back here real soon. It's my time, fam. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.